Hello. This is for the Typefront video challenge. I will be answering every question because I have nothing better else to do. So let's get started. Let me resize this. Alright. What is your type? My type is INTJ. Round 1. What do you notice about people when you first meet them? When I first meet them, it's usually how they present themselves most of the time. I notice how they walk. I can usually notice when someone's very timid or very confident, or when someone's faking their confidence. It's pretty interesting. What forms your opinion about others? I can generally tell when someone's being authentic or not, so that's usually like the deal breaker. Some people just like to small talk for the sake of trying to find their own benefits and whatnot. Not sure if that makes any sense, but I just like to talk to people that don't feel like they're gonna waste my time. If that doesn't, that sounds pretty bad, but whatever. Tell us a story about the nicest thing someone has ever done for you. Nice thing. Oh wow. Oh, I can't think of any. If you host the next Typefront hangout at your home, what food would you serve? I would probably serve tres leche, which is basically I'm not even sure if it's Spanish, but it's just a combination of sweets and layers. It's not a cake, it's like, actually I don't know how to describe it, you guys should Google it. It's delicious, but it probably has like 30 pounds of sugar in one little cup. What qualities do you find most attractive in a suitable partner? Definitely the eyes, and well, that's physical. If you want to go by physical and mental, I'll start with physical. Eyes and legs. Mental, definitely confidence, and not just like confidence as in they can speak their way through anything. I'm talking about confidence in the way that they carry themselves around conversations and other people. Like, I've noticed very friendly individuals that are obnoxious, but I've also found friendly individuals that just generally, they're nice to have around, and that's what I like the most about, like, you know, attractive and a suitable partner. The way they carry themselves in the conversation. How did you discover typology? I discovered it at the age of 14. Yeah, it was 9th grade. Yeah, I think it was 9th grade. I was it was after the school, what's it called, orientation. It was after the school orientation for the high school. They wanted everyone to research the careers that they wanted to go into, and what I had in mind was either architectural engineering, mechanical engineering, or finance. And at first I didn't like finance that much because of the environment, but I was more appealed to the monetary gains of it, and I did not know my way around people at that point, so I wanted to research how people worked to a certain extent. So I just Googled and came up with MBTI. I'm pretty sure, yeah, because back then it was kind of booming. It was a lot of MBTI articles being written, and almost every forum was very, very active. How do you personally relate to the cognitive functions associated with your personal type? I actually relate to all of them, actually. There's a lot of individuals that tend to say that they lack a certain function, or that they use this function way too much. Like, I think of it as a balance. Like I've used my NI probably just as much as my TE. It's like you just gotta learn how to correlate each function and complement each other, like make them complement each other, and that's how you kind of like use them smoothly. It's like, which kind of brings me back to what France said with the zero sensing, which kind of makes no sense. And I figured it's like, if you have no sensing, you must be just a walking wisp of wine and Frenchness. I don't know. How accurate do you think Jungian self-assessment inventories are? What issues do you... Okay, let me start with the first half. How accurate do you think... the self-assessments, the MBTI, they're not accurate at all. Although I've never tested anything other than NTJ, but I think the questions are way too broad and vague, and just it doesn't get the cognitive functions as they should be. It just it tries to get the letters for you, which we all know is a bunch of flimsy shit. What issues do you have with these self-assessments? I don't have any issue with them, really. Like, I wouldn't have found MBTI if it wasn't for the basic concepts of it. Like, I would never in my 9th grade brain would have found anything like Carl Jung, psychologist, I don't know, that type of stuff. Like, it's the basics of it. Like, I think that's the main reason MBTI is even like remotely popular between, you know, the internet and whatnot. It's because of the basic concepts that it brings, and the simplicity that people can read, and all the mumbo jumbo. Next question: do you type people around you? Yes, I do, but not to a certain extent to the functions. I do use MBTI in that certain extent. I tend to subconsciously type people, like, all the time, usually with their temperaments though. I don't go much in depth, but when I go to downtown and whatnot, there's usually a very, very diverse group of people, and I tend to place them in temperaments, which is interesting. And then my close relatives and close friends, I type them more in depth. How would your life be different if you discovered typology and your own type at a younger... Well, I discovered it at 14. If I discovered it at a younger age than that, I probably would have confused myself. Yeah. How do you relate your presumed type with how you develop throughout your childhood and early adult years? I was a very introverted kid. I've always been. Yeah, I don't think my extroverted thinking was as prominent when I was younger. My NI definitely was, and my FI was present, but it wasn't exactly something I had control over, which is why I had a lot of rage issues when I was younger. And also, I was very prone to being offended. Like, wait, no, I just completely jumbled myself. I was very prone to being offended when it came to like criticism, but that kind of stopped after high school. So, well, beginning of high school, I mean. What do you love about your type? I don't know. I guess the fact that when I have an idea and I really want to accomplish it, I can, and I usually do above of what I expected. It's the fact that I know I will do good. Yeah, I like that. Like the fact that I can put a lot of effort into something and actually be rewarding. What do you hate about it? Ooh. Probably the lack of emotional intelligence. I'm not very prone to emotional manipulation from others, but I can see how it is beneficial. Like emotional manipulation, I'm not saying it's a very good thing to have. Like you can use that in a very, very narcissistic way, but I feel like it would be very, very beneficial when it came to social interactions and whatnot. Tell us about an adversity that you overcame. Well, I guess, an adversity. This is probably an adversity that has been present for a long time. I've never been able to remember anything specifically. Like, I don't know why. It might have to do with the incidents that I've had in my younger years, but I kind of overcame that through the, living in the moment type thing. I kind of embraced my extrovert sensing in my high school years, and not in terms of like impulsiveness and whatnot, but it was sort of like, keeping myself grounded and not being anxious all the time. And the lack of memory always made me anxious, and I just learned to live with it, whatnot. What is your concept of love? Oh boy. Concept of love. Concept of love. Shit. I guess in simplified terms, it'd probably be accepting the other individual. That's not my concept. Okay, the concept of love technically is accepting the other individual as they are, and then living happily ever after. But my concept of love would probably be improving one another. Yes, that's more. I don't generally accept people as they are, so I would say my concept of love is improving someone that you have an emotional connection to. Yeah, let's go with that. Human sexuality. In what terms? I'll go with the I don't generally find other things to be weird that often, so I let people do what they like. It's more of a, accepting humans as humans. So I'm not sure where the human sexuality means in this question, but I'm gonna go with the expressing oneself in sexual acts. And my concept is do what you like. Like if you find cutting yourself just sexual bliss, go for it. Just don't hurt anyone else. It's like I've seen some videos of people choking themselves and shit. I don't see how that can be any way arousing, but it's them. I have no say in it, so there's no reason for me to criticize. Concept of morality. Concept of morality. I guess you could say that, in a way, religion has influenced my concept of morality. I'm not necessarily religious, or I never was really, but you kind of grow up in religious culture, and you just get the basic concepts of morality, and then you expand on that. I'm not necessarily sure if that's an INTJ thing, but I'm pretty sure my concept of morality is just an expanded version of the ones that already exist. Do you have any sort of life philosophy? Yes, I do. My life philosophy is live in moderation. Never too little, never too much. What is your take on the meaning of life? The meaning of life? Ooh. Meaning of life. To continue human life, I guess that's probably, yeah. It seems everyone wants a purpose, but in reality it's more vague than that. It's nothing to do with them specifically. It's more of a continue human existence type thing. I'm not necessarily sure. I'm not a scientist. I can't tell you how we were brought upon. I can give you some sources as to what scientists say, but I can't really say what I believe without, since I haven't really read up on it that much. But yeah, I think of it as the bigger picture type thing, whereas your purpose is to continue the legacy of humankind. It's like we are an advanced, advanced species. It's like why wouldn't you want to continue that? It's like I don't want to go into specifics. How do you think your intuition works for you? What does it feel like from the inside to use it? My intuition, it's kind of like my second yeah, it's like wow, okay, how do I explain this? Okay, let's say my brain has one way of exerting information, which is through my mouth, but it also has another way of exerting information, which is through the subconscious. That's how I see it. My intuition is basically raw data from my brain. And do I have control over it? Probably, to a certain extent, but sometimes I don't know how my brain finds answers. It just does. It clicks a lot. What does it feel like from the inside to use it? Like, kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like making a machine work. Let's take a mouse for example, since it's the only example I can see right now. But the mouse will not move unless you move it. So my brain can work by itself, but it will only work its magic when I actually try to process something. So it's kind of like, yeah. I need to process information for me to actually, for my intuition actually to analyze something. I'm not sure if that's accurate enough. I'm pretty sure I'm confusing everyone, but whatever. What advice would you give your younger self? Try harder, I guess. Yeah. At what point did you give up? At what point did you give up on a normal life and surrender to Facebook? Why? Do you ever see yourself going back to? Surrender to Facebook? I mean, I just use Facebook to connect with other people. I didn't have a Facebook for some time, and it felt boring. So, and there's always discussion groups on Facebook that it's very interesting. Like you can see, you can put a face to what they're saying and whatnot. It's kind of interesting. Did I give up on a normal life because of it? Probably. I guess Facebook is my idea of social interaction, I guess. Do you ever see yourself going back to normal? Cellulite? I have no idea what that means. After a hard day of work, what do you do for fun? I like to play video games. And sometimes I draw. I'm terrible at it, but I try. I also do web design on the side, usually to get my artistic side out. Again, I'm not that great. What are your hobbies? Well, as of now, I don't have any hobbies. Like I used to have a lot of hobbies. I used to go boxing. I guess web design is another hobby. Wow, I don't have any hobbies. What are you good at? What am I good at? I found that I'm pretty much good at anything I put my mind into. So, but the things I'm good at naturally would probably be um, hmm, what am I good at? I don't know. I guess I'm not very amazing in anything. Yeah, but I'm good at most things. I guess you could say that. Like, I'm good at web design, but not amazing. Like, I'm good at boxing, but I'm not amazing. I'm good at video games, but not amazing. Oh. Oh yeah, I'm good at grasping concepts. That's one. Sounds very cliche, but it's always been something that has come easy to me. What's your concept of an ideal future society? Ooh, that's a good one. Ideal future society. Alright, let's start with countries. I think countries should exist, but all united. Like the United Nations, except the United Nations are a bunch of douchebags. I think it should all be in terms, all trades, all forms of communication through countries should be through this united, let's say, reformed nation. Not so much an ally thing. It would, like, even the douchebags like North Korea would be in it, and if they're not, I guess they will miss out on a lot of opportunities. Yeah, let's go with that. That solves the unity thing. I think a lot more languages should be universal. I think world hunger should be solved not by the country itself, but by the, what's the word, surrounding countries. Not, it's more of an act of amnesty, really. It's not something political. Just because, like, in Africa, I'm using Africa as an example because, well, it's the main example. Like, they don't have the resources to fend for themselves, so it's like they got to get it from somewhere. And then just a society that improves on themselves, like education should seriously be revamped, and like religion should still exist. I feel like religion should exist because it, like, not to sound like I'm putting them down, but there are some censors that can't think for themselves or refuse to think for themselves because they think it's not trustworthy. It's like, it's a terrible thing to not find yourself not trustworthy, but it happens and it's there. Just like there are mental illnesses, like, it's there and you can't just avoid it. And I feel like the religion is a good moral compass for these individuals. So, but then we should also restrict some things like idealism. I feel like idealism is the main reason there's riots, there's wars, like there's just pure idealism. I feel like the world should be informed of everything that's going on, to a certain extent. Like, something that could cause mass panic should still be informed to the public, but in a more rationalized way. What else? Just balance throughout the world. Like, I'm all for capitalism, I'm all for socialism, but I feel like they should do their part in terms of, like, putting some effort into the world. It's like, I don't like the idea of every country, like, just all for themselves, like, in terms of, what's the word, every man for himself. There you go. It's like, that's how countries are, and it's kind of like ridiculous, like, which goes back to like immigration and whatnot, but I'm not gonna go into that. So yeah, ideal future society. Just balance. Yeah, just balance. It's like, wars are not necessary. to a certain extent. Like wars, like I can see like a military would be necessary. Like actually, yeah, a military is necessary. So let's say the ideal future society was happening now, but North Korea was not cooperating, and then it's like you have to have a military to put them in their place. Like you can't just have people, your own people, enslaving your own people and just doing dumb shit just because you feel like it. I feel like there should be some enforcement, obviously some rationalized enforcement. You can't just inform the public that they're bad and North Koreans are terrible just because I said so. It's like that goes back to the informing the public. Yeah, just balance. That's basically the key word in almost everything I do, really. What do you think of Typefront so far? I don't know how long to. Okay. I actually think it's I wouldn't say it's just like NFTs, but I feel like if nothing is done of it, done of nothing, I mean done of Typefront, like nothing progresses, I feel like it's just gonna die down just like NFTs. It just might be me being somewhat progressive, but I think Typefront should have some sort of a YouTube channel, forum, website, something, because I feel like there's a lot of informed individuals in this group that can basically clear up a lot of misinformation that goes around, but that's not the primary purpose. But it just feels like, you know, a waste of I wouldn't say talent, but a waste of eager individuals that just like the concept of MBTI. It's like, why not put it to use? Like if you're gonna put it to use, you know, make some money out of it, inform the public. Like you're not losing anything but time, and like I mean, everyone's on commenting and posting like 24/7 anyways. So why not just use that time wisely to make some money? That's just my 2 cents. I think that was the last question. Yes, it was. Anyways, thanks for listening, muchachos. Mi nombre es Reynaldo. Adiós.